you have to open.
I don't think he's gonna.
3, 2, 1.
You gotta pay attention. What the hell?
Welcome back to the It's for Laughs podcast. Today, my name is Benji 2 times. We got David right next to me. He's my brother. We also got Eric over there. He's my cousin.
He's got a camera. Whoa!
He's got a camera. Yeah.
You made the miracle happen, guys. Thank you for your support on GoFundMe.
donating.
We made it happen. We made it to 100%. And yes, our boy Eric is able to have a camera now.
We appreciate you guys. Appreciate it.
Make sure
Thank
you
you.
subscribe
Finally.
and like the video. I think it's too soon to say that, but Let's
Don't
keep
worry,
going
don't
with
worry.
that.
It's never too soon.
And we got Jacob right here from Nicaragua.
What
we
up?
got Johnny too from New York. Now that we all know
Live
each
from
other,
New York.
what are we going to be talking about today, boys?
We're going
What
to
are we
talk
talking
about aliens.
Aliens.
The movie.
Whoa.
Aliens.
Aliens.
Do they
like,
exist?
Aliens.
What's
Like
an
not
alien?
the
ET go home.
extraterrestrial.
Or
Area
like
51?
Transformers.
More than meets
All
the
of
eye.
the
Or
above, guys.
like Elon Musk.
He's Mark Zuck.
Or
Mark
Interstellar. What?
Interstellar.
Oh, Interstellar.
Guys, are
Finally,
there
Interstellar can become a topic.
a topic?
It's actually a topic, finally.
What do you guys think? Are there aliens among us? Or are there aliens even not on Earth but on different planets?
Okay, let's start with do aliens exist?
Okay. I think that aliens. I am, I guess, skeptical about it, but I do think that they might exist. So technically, yes. Like, if it's a yes or no question, I would say yes. And the reason why,
Mm-hmm.
I just, bro, it's such a the universe is such a huge place that I don't know.
Or is it?
We don't know exactly. It could
Have
be.
you
It could
bet-
not be. It could be. It could be a parallel universe.
Jacob, have you ever been off of planet Earth?
That's a deep question.
And how do you know that this is actually planet Earth?
We do not know. We
Is
happen to
water
call it
wet?
Planet Earth. What? Is fire on fire? What?
Does fire get burnt?
Well,
No,
for
but yeah.
me, something that I've heard someone
Is-
say recently is kind of that, and it makes sense to me, is that if aliens did exist, I think they would have shown themselves by now.
Maybe they're just shy.
Mm-hmm.
So I
That
don't
could
think
be.
I
That
don't
is
think
my
it's true.
theory. If aliens exist, they're shy.
Mm-hmm.
But in my opinion, I don't think aliens exist. I just I do think that we. Well, okay. Better question. Isn't. Nah. I still don't believe there's other.
I feel like
I don't think there's
if-
anything that compares to a human per se. I think
I-
if anything, it could be like an animal, like
Like an ant.
not. Well,
like a
yeah, but
caterpillar.
like it could be anything like that.
Where do aliens come from? Do they really come from outer space if they do exist? Or do they come from the sea, which is unexplored? Is
then
there a
are-
whole nother universe under the sea?
But then
No,
are there
then
really aliens?
There would only be certain depth.
Wouldn't that be an animal though?
That's just
See,
a
that's
creature.
what. That's
Is it
my
an
thing.
animal?
I
Or
think.
aliens animal? What?
I think alien. If
you're-
there is an
you're-
alien, there would be a creature, not like a human life, like a.
Yeah, I don't.
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like if life itself is able to evolve into different kind of forms in terms of like how we were formed and stuff like that. If we're coming look at it from a scientific standpoint, then
So you
I don't
believe in
see why-
evolution, Eric?
I play the.
So
fit.
you
This is-
believe
we're
that
talking
the
about
human came
aliens
from a
today.
pebble? Is that what you want?
From
Came
a
from a
live
live
pebble.
stone.
I'm just saying.
Stone
if-
dropped the pebble. Humans
if life is able
existed.
to if we're able to if creatures and humans and stuff like that are able to evolve and stuff like that, if we're looking from that perspective, I don't see why not.
Well,
aliens
it's kind of.
exist.
Well, I guess this is just my belief, right? We don't evolve from nothing. I guess we evolve to our environment. So we as beings were already created, right? And we became different because of the environments around us, not necessarily because we we started out different, I guess you could say.
I think it's more
So-
like an adaptation than
Exactly. It's like an
evolution.
adaptation more than an evolution. I mean, it still can be, considered evolution, but I think that's the biggest thing. And I do agree that I think if there is some sort of being or life being, they could have adapted to their environment. So to us, they may look foreign. However, they could be similar. You know what I mean? Like E.T., for example, right? Why is he all shriveled up? Because of his environment. Not because he's necessarily a different being. Maybe
Isn't
he's just
E.T.
a
like,
human being who adapted to his environment.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Oh.
What?
Wait, so you're saying like it's almost other human beings on other planets that may have
From the
adapted
future.
differently?
So you're
Perhaps.
saying time travel is doable though, because then it's someone from the past who traveled to a different planet, and then they adapted there, and then they came back.
So do you believe in that somewhat? Do you believe there's other humans per se from
I
another
think it
in
could
other
be
planets?
possible through technology in the fact that our
But you're-
history is very Eurocentric, right? So it's very around European society.
Listen,
right?
bro,
So what we learn in school
okay.
and around the world, there's a lot of European, right? So one, indigenous culture, wasn't really found out, or two, also Asian culture too. I mean, there's a lot of history recorded there. But what if there was some type of culture who could somehow develop something and they are on another planet or
Like
in
the
a
ones
different time?
the ones who made the pyramids, perhaps?
Like Wakanda?
Perhaps. Maybe,
Wakanda.
honestly, maybe.
Like
There
that
could
same,
have
like
been some type of-
conceptually.
Conceptually,
Conceptually,
yes.
it's the same concept
could
that
have
you're
been-
trying to describing. That they
It
were
could
just
be
hidden and
possible.
sheltered.
And we just don't know. And they traveled, and then their people adapted to the environment
So-
of a certain planet or certain environment, and then they're different.
So
To
you're
us, they're
saying
foreign, but they're still human beings.
so you're
Yeah,
saying
so-
Elon Musk is from Wakanda and he's trying to get us to catch
He's
up.
South African.
I mean, it's the same continent.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
so
very, like, bleaching.
Merriam-Webster definition. There's many definitions, but I guess the one that relates to what we're talking about at the moment is coming
Oh,
from
yeah.
another world, extraterrestrial.
So then your
I mean, that could
definition
apply
of
to
alien.
that can apply to, like, in this case, let's say, I don't know, like,
So, like a meteorite would be considered alien.
If
yeah,
there's
exactly.
life.
Anything could be like from another world, or like. But the thing is that from another world, I feel like it goes back to the same thing that Samuel was saying, like something that we don't know that is, I guess, strange from the knowledge that we have.
Hmm. But in reality, it could be normal, I guess you could say. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
So imagine a caveman discovering fire. That's technically alien for him.
Hmm. Exactly. Also,
Cause-
like the terms that's used for undocumented immigrants, aliens. Are they aliens? No, they're people. But
from the same world.
it's a term that's used, just for something foreign.
Yeah.
Some
So-
interesting concept.
Well, I believe that, like, speaking outside of the planet Earth, that there might be a possibility. I am obviously not 100% sure, but
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think that. Why would they visit us? I mean, look at the Earth, man. We're like destroying it. Not trying to get eco-friendly and nothing like that. But I don't know, man. What if
I
they're
mean-
doing better for themselves? Then what would be the
I mean,
point
Well,
for us?
then
the thing
that
is
means they
also
probably
is that-
have already visited.
The thing is also you don't know, like, just like the level of intelligence might not be that high either. You know,
Mhm.
like if we're looking at from like
Oh, okay.
if we're looking from Samuel's perspective of where we adapted, like cavemen, right, weren't necessarily Elon Musk's of the world. They had to like
Some of them.
gather that information.
Shoot, I would
You know what I'm
agree.
saying? So
The
it's
dude
it's
made
possible that
fire.
it's possible that they're just either way ahead in terms of ahead in terms of intelligence, where they're like light years away from like
Okay.
us either being smarter or dumber than us.
Well,
And-
they
or
are
we're on
light
the-
years
But
away.
think about this. Think about this. What if there was an Egyptian Elon Musk when the pyramids were constructed? It was a human being that just happened to be really smart, and he was the one that came up with the idea of building the pyramids, or the Tenochtitlan in Mexico on the Aztec Empire.
Stonehenge.
What if that was the Elon Musk of that society? You know,
The wheel.
not trying to
Well, I think
put
that's true.
Elon Musk in a pedestal.
But that's not. But that's not. That has nothing to do with alien though. It's like that's
But
just.
it's part of the mystery. You know, we don't know many things.
Now, here's what I think.
I mean,
Yeah, Benji hasn't
or it
spoken.
could have been
Ben has all the
that-
knowledge. Let's see what he
that
says.
aliens came and disguised themselves. Were able to disguise themselves as humans, and were like those stepping stones of getting our civilization up there.
Have you been watching Resident Alien?
I heard that's a good show.
It's,
around
it's
the
all
All right,
So-
Ben, what do you have to say?
All right, so here's what I think about aliens. I think by the definition that Jacob says that it's pretty much just life outside of this world. I feel like it's possible. The only difference is that I don't think that their intelligence is at our level. Not to say that we're crazy smart. It's just that
It's a
maybe
bit
they're just like
narcissistic.
ants or like just something like small that's lifelike, like bacteria. And it's just it is life, but it's not like at that level of intelligence. I feel like that's definitely possible. Now, if they were at our level of intelligence, again, I would probably agree that they would have visited, but I don't think so. I think because a lot of people reference like those, like the pyramids and all those sort of like Stonehenge, for example, as parts where aliens were and they built that. Because obviously they can't describe where it came from. I think it came from just humans, just people. You know, they were bored. It was a sunny day. They're like, all right, let's build some stones. Let's make some pyramids for funsies. And they just did it. You know, it's not that big of a deal. That's my hot take.
Very true. No, I agree. I think, I mean, it's kind of like also the way people think indigenous cultures or, you know, Native Americans, for example, weren't really that smart, but they actually created all these things. And it's true. It's kind of like they kind of just, it's kind of, I feel like it was more of like a form of art more than anything, right?
Yeah.
It was like, all right, let's make something. What can we make? Let's build this huge pyramid, you know? And they designed it and all that. And it's not aliens, you know?
Because the thing is, too, I feel like every generation has their Elon Musk. Every generation has their artist, has their Picasso. It's just a
As their
matter
Dwayne
of...
The Rock Johnson.
Has their Dwayne The Rock Johnson, has their Jacob. Yeah. It's just like it's just that at that time period, it just, you know, well, nowadays we have like the internet. We can just Google these people. If they were like even past like 1600, if they were from America, if they're from Europe, there's something on them at least, because they had books back then. And now it's just a little bit easier to find them with the internet. But back then, when those buildings and stuff like that were constructed, maybe they weren't written down. Because writing is what really caused us as a society to advance. And back then, they didn't really do much of that. Maybe it was just a drawing or two.
It was a lot of word of mouth, too.
Yeah.
And the only problem with that is when kind of cultures are killed off, their history dies with them. So when indigenous cultures were killed off in the U.S. and South America and all that, their culture died with them. And we had no idea, you know? We had no idea what they actually had or created or if they time traveled, you know?
What about, how do you explain the UFOs, what other, like, the abductions,
The UFO
like
sightings
those kind
and
of
stuff
things?
like that.
Yeah, so how do we explain that? Like,
It's the
So-
government, bro.
so I think
The government's corrupt.
the...
Hot take.
I think it's just Rick and Morty.
That's a
just flying
true
by,
take.
Bro.
What, Eric?
I said I
Rick
think
and
it's just
Morty flying
Rick
by.
and Morty flying by, bro.
Oh,
Rick and
true.
Morty.
Which one?
I mean, I think it's,
Play up to their
honestly, I think
shenanigans.
it is like...
It's just experiments that they're doing.
experiments on people. May or may not be the government, but it could be big companies, you know, more than anything, you know, because
Isn't it true
The
that
lizard
most
people?
of these like UFOs and abductions happen in the States? Right? Like in America? It hasn't happened
in
really
an
much.
American side, not
Yeah.
too much
America's-
in like Europe,
Well,
and,
Europe.
and,
I think
and Asia.
I think there's been
It's
like
interesting.
I think there's been like talks about it all over the world, but the people that give it the most media attention, because you know, America is like,
dumb.
you know, they're like, oh my god, a flying saucer, and it turns out to be
It's just an
A
airplane
frisbee.
or jet or something.
a flying plate or something.
Squirrel.
I don't know.
But here's the thing. This is based on the. I don't have the sources at the moment, but I remember reading about in around the time of World War II, where there was like the shape of the UFO. It originated from that time where there was the.
He's like
I
a
don't know
fighter
what it was. I
jet.
think it was like a fighter jet or something
The
like
black,
that.
black,
Mhm.
hot-
Yeah, yeah,
black
yeah.
And
bird,
it had the
Yeah,
shape of like a,
Blackbird.
I
and then
remember.
it was like rumors like about aliens about that, and that's where the like popular shape of the UFO that it was like
Came
a flying
about.
disc.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also, I mean, there's a lot of things in the states like Nevada, for example, that the Area 51 has aliens, and I guess like all of it comes from obviously NASA, being in the states. So that's the reason why I think everything is related with the states, like as of like the modern aliens. But I had actually an interesting painting from the Renaissance era. Hold up, let me try to.
A
Greg will
Renaissance
probably
era.
Greg will probably show it in the video, but it's just showing it right now. So it's like a
Thanks, Greg.
crucifixion,
Oh,
but if
yeah.
you look here, there's like a weird.
Oh, like a comet.
Yeah. And you see here, and there's like a little man there. If you like, once Greg puts it up, you will be able to see like there's like a person in there.
Thank you, Greg.
And like the Renaissance, I mean, in the 1500s, around that era, like it makes you wonder, like, how did this artist come up with that?
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's
Well,
obviously
there's
like
a lot of like creativity. Like for instance, in the Bible, it does talk about people coming down in chariots or on horses,
Yeah.
stuff like that, and in Revelation and stuff like that. So I think
Don't forget, I can't remember who their names at the moment, but two people that were like sent up to
yeah,
heaven,
Elijah
Elias.
and Methuselah, I think.
up to heaven, and they were never seen again. So
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah,
with that being said, I think if you think about it, because I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this where you're in the dark, you're like, let's say you're out in your room, and you kind of like in the dark, and then your mind and your eyes kind of make you feel like you see someone or something, and then you turn on the lights and it's like a coat rack or something like that, or like
Right.
or like a sweater. So I think if we're talking about, since we're talking about like the Renaissance time and stuff like that, where a lot of that was built around like religion and stuff like
Biblical.
that. It's like
Mhm.
it's like people's minds like being like just I don't know what the actual phrasing for it is or how to describe it, but like you make these images up in your mind, like your mind is allowing you to process these
Yeah.
things
but
in
think
a
about
way
this:
where you
the
think
Renaissance.
you're saying something foreign and stuff like that.
But the Renaissance was a art movement or a period, not art movement only, but like a whole era in which it was based around religion and like realism. They will find beauty. That's why you see like very realistic sculptures and drawings, because they think that all the beauty, it's from what God created, things like that.
Mhm.
So why put something that is not realistic in a painting that is about
Well, that's actually I was gonna bring up, like, what if all this stuff, like, let's say the ideas of aliens started in the Renaissance era, right? Just for example, but what if it's just like demons and Satan messing with people? You know what I mean? Like abductions, that sort of thing. It could just be that sort of like just evil things messing with people.
or it could be like some schizophrenic person just like literally
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
hallucinating about
And
it.
then they kind of like tell people what they saw or what they did.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
of course, when people hear that,
Placebo effect.
they'll fear it,
Yeah.
And then in their head, they'll kind of imagine it as well, take it on their own, So I think that's also a possibility, as far as like aliens go,
Yeah.
Don't forget, I mean, people are very gullible,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, they are.
and the thing is that like I could literally tell you guys, look, I saw a flying saucer and it looked like this, right?
A flying
And so-
sausage?
Fried sausage.
Damn,
Yeah,
man.
fine
I would
sausage.
believe you, like a flying hot dog, bro.
Well,
It's a
speaking of
saucer.
like this sort of stuff, what do you guys think, like, mythical creatures, aka like werewolves, vampires, the Loch Ness monster, like those sort of stuff? Do you think
Monster Nest Lock.
that's a possibility?
I think that perhaps it could be a possibility. Obviously, I don't think that a minotaur, or whatever you pronounce it,
A
it was
centaur.
real. Like a man with a bull legs,
half
whatever,
horse,
half horse, half
human.
man. No, but I think that maybe there was animals that just were extinct, and like obviously you think about like someone finding a dinosaur bone for the very first time. That's something you've never seen, bro. Like that's so. What if like there's this interesting video I was watching. I think it was I can't remember what it was, but it was saying that dragons, the reason why there are like a lot of civilizations, ancient civilizations, have a time period in which they would put dragons or like record humans fighting dragons. Like you see in China, they have the dragon, the long dragon, and then the western dragon in England, which is the one that's like that has like a more of a
It's like the
dinosaur
fictional
body.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the one that flies and everything. And I was looking at a really interesting video explaining how like what if it was like just a bird and then bird bones are actually more fragile. And throughout time obviously they are not conserved as other animal bones because they're so delicate and they just end up like disintegrating. So what if it was just like a giant species of bird that it just got extinct, and it was not necessarily a dinosaur? And the same thing could be said about the Sasquatch. What if it was like a giant monkey that we just don't know?
Big gorilla.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
I
my
feel like with mythical creatures, they're more of a stretch than
Than,
aliens. Yeah, because
Well, I think I feel like there's always like a root. I think like for instance, what Jacob said is true. Versus like how, the Sasquatch could have just been a huge monkey or just a huge bear, a huge gorilla, or something like that. And I feel like everything has their own root, and then it kind of just snowballed into something else. You know what I mean? Like vampires, they were probably just serial killers. Who enjoyed drinking human blood.
Cannibals.
And then,
which blood consumption was very common in in the Norse civilization. The Vikings, they used to like drink blood for like their rituals and sacrifices. That was like a thing for them. So what if
Right.
I don't know the origins of vampires, but
yeah, I mean, me neither, but it could have been something derived from that,
yeah.
So I think with aliens, though, I think for me, my answer is no. I think after our discussion and just what I think my answer is no. I don't know if everyone gave a final answer or not.
So final answer. Aliens, do they exist? My answer will stay as
Mark Zuckerberg.
aliens as alien creatures could exist, in my opinion, but not alien like intelligence.
Humanoids.
That's what I was saying.
I would say that. That's how I would conclude my thoughts to be.
Yeah, I would agree. No alien intelligence.
Ain't no alien smarter than us.
Yeah.
Human narcissism.
Their IQ is
Shout
one.
it out.
What do you guys think, Jacob and Eric?
What do you think, Eric?
I think it'd be naive of us to not think that there's some type of alien life form out there.
Jacob,
Yeah.
Take that how you may.
I think so. We never seen one, therefore it's not. There's nothing that's technically real until you see it. proof or it didn't happen. But I think that I'm still open to the possibility that there could be aliens. At the end of the day, as well, humans, like in this case, like we were talking about mythology, humans tend to like just explain things that don't make sense to them. In this case, like if Sasquatch was a giant monkey, what if they were like, oh, this is the Sasquatch, but it was a giant monkey. So what if that is the same thing? Ignorance is just a whole thing that started with ignorance of things that humans do not understand. But at the end of the day, I'm still open to believing that maybe there is a possibility. But since I haven't seen an alien, obviously, I think that no, at this moment. So
Okay.
I gotta say, if you're gonna say, if there's no proof, then can't really believe it. Then that defeats like a bunch of like
well, yeah,
stuff.
but
And that's
I
like
see-
not just pertaining to alien life. That's like pertaining to a lot of things.
yeah, that's literally to anything else. But
But we're speaking on the aliens side of it, more than anything. So
Oh, well, you heard it here, everyone. Aliens exist. Aliens
not.
don't exist. It's both, apparently. According to
aliens
the It's for Laughs.
exist and do not exist.
Put it in the
Which-
comments, though. Tell us what
like,
you believe.
comments, yes
Tell
or
us
no.
why you believe it. And don't forget, while you're going down to the comment section, to leave a little like. Just so, you appreciate us. We appreciate that.
and
If you do
if there
that.
are some convincing comments, we can maybe have a second episode.
Ooh,
and
second episode.
go on
Specifics
those.
on it.
On the
and,
comments.
and
this
see,
one
Replying
see,
to the alien comments.
disapprove
one-
or approve of the comments, perhaps.
Because this
Speaking
one was
of
just
this
off the top of our head, so we could do
Speaking
more
of
research
this
for the next
proof,
one.
this video is sponsored by Chuck E. Cheese, which it was disproved that Chuck E. Cheese pizza is not reassembled by used pizza. It's fresh, new pizza for you. You wanna down do your thing? Go to Chuck E. Cheese. Millions
Link in the
You wanna
description.
what?
down do your thing. The little song, the mouse dances.
Yeah.
Well,
Millions of people enjoy going to Chuck E. Cheese like Eric. Greg, make sure you put a picture of Eric here enjoying a good old Chuck E. Cheese pizza. But yes, make sure you type in the comments Chuck E. Cheese in the comments, and the Chuck E. Cheese mouse will go to your house and give you a pizza that is not reassembled.
well,
the
guys,
doorbell.
Perfect.
thank you for listening to the podcast. Thanks for joining us in these few minutes. We hope you had a good time, and we'll see you on the next one.
See ya.
Peace.